Okay, we're back from the news with the we are here with the second hour, and actually, during the break, we were discussing the problems that Barbara had, and the fact that she cannot get any federal assistance because basically she's a non-existent person. She has no history of any kind because of her job.
That's right, Dr. Carpenter. It's called a ghost. Okay, here's the train now. It showed up just in time, but okay. You're a ghost in the system because in the type of things the kind of operations that I was involved in CIA, they're covert operations. They're black budget. They're not under any kind of congressional oversight, and it's called a person that works under non-official cover. They call it NOC or NOC. They've even made movies about these types of things, and some of them were pretty accurate. But basically, the NOC is somebody that has no official cover, as it says, no official cover. A lot of people from CIA have a cover job, or they have a diplomatic job, like foreign diplomat or diplomatic corps. The NOC has nothing. So if you get into some kind of trouble, you're on your own. They don't show up. They don't help you. And, they're willing to sacrifice you. And by the same token, now, if somebody stays on good terms, let's say somebody stays on good terms with the agency, and they're in there for a number of years, and they're still NOC. Okay, at that point, it can be arranged for you to retire, and you'll still get something, all right? But in my case, because I got out of there because of what they were doing, because of the corruption and the crimes, and I have nothing. I have no official employment history. I have no credit history. I don't have a bank account. I have nothing. And so therefore, if I tried to get any kind of assistance, even assuming I was willing to try, which I've become so desperate that I figured, let me go and see what might be available. I'm just not going to answer any intrusive questions. I'm not going to do that. I walk in the door of these places, and it's always the same. I can't answer the questions. I don't have anything to give them. I've got nothing. And so what happens? You're turned away. And the same thing is true of the veterans. Even though the veterans have an official history, that's there, okay, under the Department of Defense, that's there. But still, the veterans get screwed. These people risk their lives, okay? A lot of them are homeless, and nobody gives a damn. And that is just completely disgusting and outrageous. People that served this country with honor in their hearts, most of them, I believe, did have honor in their hearts. And what does the government do? You are cast aside. You are abandoned and betrayed.
I remember a few months ago I talked about that case that this group of homeless men stopped a bank robbery, and they turned out to be military. Mm-hmm. And they were homeless. That's a disgrace. And the other... Yeah, go ahead.
Let me just tell a brief story that about a little over a month ago, I got so desperate, having no money, that I went and sold the rest of the jewelry that I had. I didn't have much. I had some silver and gold jewelry, and I went and sold it, and they ripped me off, of course, as they always do, because they give you the value of the metal. That's it. Mm-hmm. Coming out of the place where I sold the jewelry, and I didn't get much, and I needed food. I needed food and gas for the car, all this. I see a homeless veteran sitting in front of a 7-Eleven that was just up the street where my car was parked. He has a sign, homeless veteran. And I was walking to my car, and I stopped, and I said, I have to go back. I can't pass this guy by. So I turned around and I walked back, and I gave him something. It wasn't much, and he said to me, God bless you. You're the first person that gave me anything today. This is a homeless veteran.
I know, but people don't care.
People don't care, but you know who gives? You know the kind of person that gives to another person that's in trouble? A person like you.
That is in trouble.
Me.
A person that knows
person that
firsthand.
knows what the trouble is like. Okay?
Yeah.
Not somebody that has the money. Okay? They don't care. But when you see...
Actually, there is a song of Phil Collins that talks about that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this woman that is begging for help, but she doesn't have any shoes. And she...
I can tell you this, Dr. Carpenter. I have never in my life passed anybody by. If I see a person on the street, a homeless person, I don't care. And people say, oh, they're going to go spend on booze. So what? I don't care what they spend it on. If that person has their hand out and they're asking me, and I have it on my person, if it's my last dollar, they have it. Okay? Just like I would want somebody to do for me. And that's the problem, really, in this country, that people, and especially Christians, for heaven's sakes, they say they're Christians. Christians are supposed to do for the poor.
They put all this money in the church to build a better church, a more expensive one. They do that, but they don't help people in need.
But they don't help the poor. They don't help the poor. That's the gospel of Jesus Christ. You're supposed to feed the hungry, clothe the naked, visit the people that are in prison, help people that are in trouble. And do they do it? Most of them do not.
They don't. They don't. And it's just... it's just unbelievable. Okay, but anyway, they always have excuses. But the one thing I wanted to say about the government when we were discussing about CIA members and everything, that they're on their own, okay, when they run into trouble. Well, look, in every other country, the spies are considered patriots. And when they run into trouble, the country tries to get them out. The U.S. throws them to the wolves.
Exactly, Dr. Carpenter. Exactly. And actually, there's a couple of movies. There's one movie, I think it's called The Recruit. Okay, and it's an excellent movie because it depicts what really goes on. I think it's Al Pacino and I can't forget the name of the other guy.
I think I've seen it too, but it's been a long time. I can't remember. But
in that movie, they talk about what really goes on, and they say
correct. Is correct.
Yeah, there's a lot of it that is correct. Yes, that's true. And basically, what it turns out is this person that turns out to be the NOC, as they call NOC, the NOC, the guy, the CIA guy who's above him in the ranks. You know, it's like that he's first told that he's rejected. Okay, rejected. But he was really the NOC, and he was completely covert, meaning, you know, that, look, guy, you're the cream of the crop.
Wasn't the one that was a woman being the...
Yes, that was another called Spy Games.
Okay.
Spy Games. That was Brad Pitt and
that's not it. There was another one, and I thought that was with Robert De Niro. But anyway, the recruit was a girl.
Okay, yeah. Well, there's a number of these movies, and some of them are very accurate. Some of them are very accurate in terms of what actually goes on. And what people do not understand is this organization, this agency, CIA, it is a completely above the law. It's a rogue agency. They do what they please. They exploit people. They eat their own, as the saying goes.
Yeah.
And so that's precisely what they do. Just like what they do with the veterans, they're cannon fodder. And so were we, all of us that served in any of these agencies. They consider you nothing more. They invest a lot of money, sir, in the training and all that. Yeah, you're an investment for them, okay? And so they're willing to go to a certain extent as to how they can use you, exploit you, utilize you. After that, they do not give a tinker's damn what happens to you.
To you, yeah.
They don't care.
Did you ever see that movie that was with Steven Seagal, The Glimmer Man?
The what man?
Glimmer Man. Glimmer, like a glimmer of light.
I don't think I saw that one, no.
Well, I was wondering if you had seen it, if what they were saying was correct, you know, what they do to people and how they... See, he decided that he had enough and left, and that's when he was, targeted because he left.
That's exactly true, though, Dr. Carpenter. I've known quite a number of people that were CIA, some of whom I worked with, and one particular person whose name was Chip Tatum. He's very well known, and he was involved in all kinds of dirty deals and drug running, and he did not even know at the time. In other words, they were using him for these operations, and they did not know. Well, guess what happened? He was convicted of treason because he decided he'd had enough. So he was sent to federal prison for 2 years, and when he got out, he became a whistleblower. I was on the lecture circuit with him from 1997 and 1998. He left the country in 1998, and nobody really knows if he's still alive. There's all kinds of stories. Yeah, but this is what they do. They screw their own. They screw people. They dump them. If you come out and say, I've had enough now, and I'm not going to be a part of this anymore, they will try, just like any whistleblower, just like you, just like any others, they will target you and say, we are going to destroy you. These are the people that care, people that serve the country with honor, whatever they're doing. And if they find that something is going wrong with anything they're involved in, we get out. We don't sit there and play the game. No, I'm out of here. Okay? And that is the problem with this country, that an honorable person who cares about freedom, liberty, individual rights, and wants to save lives, that's what it comes down to. That person is turned into an outcast, is blacklisted, is targeted. And we need to make that very clear, that this is what we're dealing with here. It's nothing less than persecution.
And why a lot of people know about this, why they let it continue, that's what I don't understand. Why they let this continue. Because
people are afraid.
They're afraid, and they say, it's not my problem anyway. Yes, it is. It's everybody's problem, not just the person directly involved in it.
I would say that for a person like Bill Windsor or me or others like us who are not allowed to see our grandchildren anymore, do you really think that the families that are distancing themselves and isolating us from our own flesh and blood, you think it's not their problem? It certainly is their problem. They think, oh, we're not going to do this, and we're not going to deal with this. We can't do this. Okay, what's going to happen then when the very people who are standing up for their rights, everybody's rights, what will happen when the worst comes down on them? Will they ever recognize that we tried to stop it?
No, they won't. They don't care as long as they think they're okay. See, that's the problem. They think, oh, yeah, well, we all know that what the government does. We all know that this problem exists. We all know, but I'm staying out of it, so I won't be a target. And at this rate, everybody will become a target unless we do something now.
That's right. Even though the people that are the primary targets, a high-profile target, as we call it, you or me, for instance, or Bill Windsor and Gerald Sosby and others. Okay. Those people are high-profile targets. It means you're in the public eye. They see you as a serious threat because of whatever you're doing. But what other people don't understand is if they think by trying to cover it up and cover their ears and cover their eyes and stick their head in the sand, well, they won't get me. But they will get you.
Oh,
and it's
sure.
exactly because you did not support the person that was spearheading the effort, that stood up and said, I'm not going to let them get you.
Right. I know. And that's really sad, but, unless we get people to join in and assist us, I don't see how we can succeed. That's the problem. And that's why everybody in Washington and the government, they really don't worry too much as long as not too many people are involved.
That's
if
right.
a lot of people are involved, then they'll rethink the thing, and they're trying to avoid that. It's just unbelievable. People don't understand that we are being herded like cow, like cattle brought to the slaughter, used and brought to the slaughter. It's just unbelievable. People can't get this. And this new thing, okay, starting October 1st, they are going to have, I don't know if you're aware of it, but they're going to have enrollment for the Affordable Care Act, the insurance coverage, healthcare insurance coverage, affordable care. Okay. They are having what they call health insurance exchanges opening for business on October 1st, basically to sell you this affordable care insurance.
Yeah.
One great problem they have is the key feature of this is, of course, that everybody has to participate. Everybody has to get that insurance, and then either that or pay a fine, okay?
Exactly.
Which
and
is
that's unconstitutional as hell.
I know, and I don't know if they're gonna be successful in it anyway. But what they know is that unless young people participate in this insurance, there is not one chance in hell for this to succeed. And get this, they're actually saying ensuring, and pay attention to the wording of this, ensuring young, healthy people helps balance out the risk of covering older, sicker adults.
Yeah.
Okay? Well, because if American between age 20 and 30-something don't sign up with this insurance, the fear is that premium could spiral out of control.
It already has. You know what, Dr. Carpenter?
Yeah.
I read a story just today I don't remember the name of the people, but I read a story on the internet today about a family. It was a husband and wife and 2 children. They had a premium an insurance company that they'd signed, independent company. They'd signed up, and it was like $300 some odd a month, which they could handle. Suddenly, the costs spiraled to almost $1,000 a month. They don't have it. $1,000 a month.
I know.
They don't have it. And now they're under the gun. What are they going to do? The government is out of control trying to force this on people, and as it is, they won't cover, as you well know. Most of these things do not cover any kind of holistic or alternative.
No, they don't.
Healthcare.
You might as well, if you need it, might as well go out of your pocket. But what I was saying is, pay attention to the wording. Unless young, healthy people sign up for this insurance, then to balance the risk of covering older people. So balance the risk of covering the people that need insurance. Okay?
There's a war, as you know, Dr. Carpenter, there's a war on the elderly, okay? People that are senior citizens, they don't care whether we live or die.
Well, actually, they do care that you live long enough to pump you with so many drugs that they make a bundle of money, take every penny you have, and then you can die. But what I am saying is the wording of this that depends on the young, healthy people to sign up. Doesn't that sound like a Ponzi scheme to you?
Yes, it does. Of course.
That's all it is. It's a rip-off of the public. It's a Ponzi scheme. It's not anything.
People should have, and under the Constitution, okay, people have a right to choose their own health care, to pay for it themselves, whether they decide to have an insurance policy. That's their decision to make, not the government to force it on them. And people should be allowed to say, I want this practitioner, whether it's Dr. Carpenter or any other person, a naturopathic or a chiropractor, whoever, okay? They have the right to say, this is what I want. I'm going to pay for it with my own hard-earned money, and the hell with you. You don't have any right to interfere with me and force me into some kind of standard treatment plan that's going to kill me.
I know. It's just unbelievable that people are not fighting back and saying, If you want to have the insurance that everybody must have, then you have to allow people to go to an alternative practitioner if they wish to do so.
That's right.
And instead, it's just unbelievable. And there again, it's another thing that people should fight. What do you mean and if you're not providing that, I don't want an insurance. What do you mean everybody has to have an insurance, and if do not, they have to pay taxes? Are you kidding?
That's unconstitutional. The government has no right to force something like that down anybody.
Well, listen, does that surprise you?
No.
Do you remember somebody that had a civil trial and the 14th Amendment, part of the Constitution,
yes,
was violated? Right. And then when she complained to the committee that oversee the behavior of judges, what happened? The answer was the judge was doing his job. Really? Violating the 14th Amendment?
But he was not honoring his oath to...
No, his job is protect the Constitution.
The Constitution. And all of these people, Dr. Carpenter, I just saw a case today. And we don't have enough time to get into it.
Maybe about 30 seconds now.
Okay. All right. I'll hold it then.
Yeah, we'll talk about this and all these things. And I'm sorry we are just slipping away from medical, but it's a government conspiracy anyway. So it's all conspiracy. Might not be necessarily into the medical, but it is conspiracy. So we'll talk to you after the break.
Real alternative radio. We are OrionTalkRadio.com.
At Orion Talk Radio, we're constantly working hard on your behalf. But the fight for freedom could not be fought without you. So we want to hear what you have to say at 888-272-4434.
Wow, I have never heard talk radio like this before.
Y'all got a really good thing going, and we really appreciate it. We're from Alabama, and thank y'all so very, very much. Thank you.
Hi, guys. Good job and all. My name's Wayne from Alberta, Canada. Good work, guys.
I agree with your defense of the First Amendment, religion, speech, press, the right to assemble.
Hey, I think Orion Radio is spectacular and awesome.
Hey, I just wanted to call and tell you I'm a great supporter of your radio broadcast. Anyway, good to hear some refreshing information. Very intelligent speech. Keep up the good work. Thank you.
At Orion Talk Radio, we're waiting for your call. 888-272-4434.
Okay, we are back from the break, and we are into the final segment of our program today. But Barbara has something to say about justice in court and honesty of the Justice Department in presenting cases. Something that she read. Yeah.
Well, it's actually a video that I saw, Dr. Carpenter, and I have to preface this by saying that I don't have enough information yet. But I did see enough about this case that I was so outraged. Evidently, there's a man, I know his last name is Williams. I don't remember, I think it might have been Anthony Williams. Anyway, he was in a court in the state of Hawaii, and somehow they had set him up on a false charge of something. And the reason, as I understood it, was because this man has an organization and a website. It's common law, based on common law. And common law is the basis of the law in this country. In other words, that it tells the truth about what the law really is, and it's connected to constitutional law. All right. So anyway, this man was representing himself in a court of law, and the FBI, I guess because he helped a lot of people, with this common law, and sui juris, which is that I'm under my own jurisdiction. That's the meaning of the term. So anyway, they set him up on a false charge, and then he was in Hawaii. He was originally living in Georgia, I guess, and the FBI, he represented himself in the court, and he made mincemeat of these people, including the judge. He asked the judge at one point, "Are you under oath? Are you operating under oath?" And the judge was just like, well, I'm doing the best I can, right? He said, "Are you under the oath of the Constitution that you took?" And the judge had no answer. Then it moves on to where they took fingerprints. They had him in custody. He was representing himself in the court, and he was in shackles with his hands. And he was standing there with all his legal papers that he'd done exceptional research. He knew exactly what he was talking about. So the FBI had some kind of fingerprints, so-called, supposedly. Meanwhile, the court in Hawaii had taken a recent set of fingerprints. So he was asking, he was representing himself, and he was questioning people on the witness stand. I guess the people that had come against him. And he said, "What about this set of fingerprints? I want to see exactly where this came from." And so finally, they kept on overruling him. They made objections. And he said, "I demand to see the paper, the document on which this set of fingerprints sent by the FBI from the AFIS, which is the Automated Fingerprint Information System, I think it's called." Okay, so guess what? The so-called document from the FBI that was presented, he said, "What is the date on this document?" And they gave a date. The date was something, I think, 1971. He said, "Well, Your Honor," he said, "this set of fingerprints, supposedly sent by the FBI, the date on this is 17 days after I was born." He was 17 days old, okay, when the so-called FBI fingerprint was taken and they matched the fingerprints. It was a fabrication by the FBI to set him up. Simply why? Because he was helping people, because he knew the law. He stated in the court, he said, "I have more knowledge of the law than anybody that's ever gone through a law school or it's in the bar. I have the knowledge," and he proved it in that courtroom. He asked questions that they could not possibly answer, and then he finally hit him with the bombshell. 17 days after I was born. And they still tried. I haven't even finished watching the video. I'm waiting to see the end of it. 17 days after, so a fingerprint of a person who was 17 days old.
You couldn't even take the fingerprint of a baby, Daya.
You couldn't. And obviously the fingerprints were the same fingerprints that matched the recent fingerprints that were taken by the whatever sheriff's department or police when he was in Hawaii. They took a recent set and they matched. And the FBI had the audacity to claim that this document with fingerprints from 1971, when the man was 17 days old, was, here's a match. Do you see the level of corruption that's operating here? I mean, they will do anything. And they did similar to you, Dr. Carpenter, in a different way. They lie.
It's a drug.
Yeah.
It's an adulterated drug that I sell. Unbelievable. And food can be a drug. Oh, no, it can't.
Well, they'll say anything, they'll do anything, because the whole enterprise is dishonest and corrupt. And
when I proved the lies on videos on the web, that's when they started with the
Well, exactly.
FDA and then,
you know what? The people who have the facts, who have the documentation, and can prove it, those are the people they're going to go after. Because if you're helping people, this man had something that was actually teaching people, instructing people how to represent themselves under common law, under...
Because if you don't, and if you hire a lawyer, he's going to stab you in the back no matter what.
And that's what he said. Do you know what he said, Dr. Carpenter? He said in the court, he said, listen, they kept trying to say, well, we'll appoint a lawyer for you. Well, if you can't afford... No. He said, I'm representing myself. And then he said, Let me tell you a story. Every single time I have gone into court to represent myself, pro se, I represented myself, I have won. He said, every time I had a bar attorney, I lost. So what does that tell you?
I know that happened. They will take your money, ruin you financially, and they will double cross you. Stab you in the back.
Exactly.
Unless you're guilty as sin, and then they will get you off. If you're a murderer, they will get you off.
No money, assuming you have $100,000, like some of these criminals that have made blood money. They've racked up the points in blood money. They've got the money to pay a corrupt attorney.
Yeah, they do, but it's a lot more than $100,000 these days. But see, then they realize if you're guilty, the attorney can ask whatever price and you'll go for it because you're guilty.
You're guilty. It's called justice for sale. Justice for sale.
I know, and that's a disgusting thing about it. If you're innocent, that's when you're in trouble. You have to defend yourself.
That's right.
Because otherwise you're going to get messed up. That's why I had that disagreement with Gerald.
Yeah. No, I understand that.
Yeah. So, because you're in trouble if you get a lawyer. Oh, they're great. There are some good lawyers. Uh-huh. Sure.
Well, you know what, Dr. Carpenter? I'll tell you this. There may be somewhere some people who are real crusader for justice. There have been in the history of the world. But you know what? There's not a lot of them out there today. I don't even know anybody, and that's the way it is.
Well, I remember that. I can't even remember the title of that movie. It was a movie of years ago with oh man, it was talking about polluting the environment and
Class Action.
Yeah,
with Gene Hackman.
Yeah, he was.
That was one of my favorite movies, Dr. Carpenter. Is that the one, Class Action? There was a movie about that. That was about polluting the environment.
That was one. It was another one with.
About that woman. Okay, the woman that was not on.
No, this was Irene Brockovich. No, this one.
Not Erin Brockovich. No.
No, it was another one. It was a true story, but. Jeez, I can't remember the name of the guy. You know, he used to be in Welcome Back, Kotter. What's his name? And then in a lot of movies, he really made it. What is his name? Everybody knows it.
John Travolta?
Yes, John Travolta.
Oh.
And he played an attorney in the Boston area, and it was a true story. And basically, he was one of the big attorney and making a lot of money, and he got involved in this case. At first, he didn't want to hear it. And then when he started seeing some things and started investigating, he got into it. And he got having so much trouble, not seeming to get anywhere, that all his partner quit. They left him and went and created a different firm because he continued on that. He was financially ruined. He was broke, totally broke. Lost his car, lost his house, everything. Okay?
It was based on a true story, right?
Yeah, and a real attorney, yes. And I can't remember, obviously, the name. And this was against a big corporation. Well, in the end, he got him. But, you know, that's a pretty bad example. Who wants to lose? And
but
we all know that.
Dr. Carpenter, I'll tell you this. I know this. I know this because I've made a lifetime of looking into it, and I have lived it myself. I know that the person with principles who will stand up against anything, and they will not back down, no matter what. There are times, most often you are ruined in every sense of the word. You lose everything. You lose all your possessions. You end up with bankruptcy or destitution.
Yes, that's what he ended up with, and then he couldn't get any loan for anything. It was just, that's how he ended up.
Yes.
But in the end,
in the end, he won in that case. And you know what? Even if they don't win, I believe that the fact that that person stood up and did the right thing, we'll never know how many people might have been helped or inspired and to stand up themselves. So no matter what, You have to keep standing up against them. There's no excuse for backing down, no matter what.
I know. Because you only make him stronger when you do.
That's right.
And I don't know how he finally got the case and got him. I don't remember what happened and how he by studying, figured out the way. And then when the attorney of the company was served, and he was also a pretty known actor. He was the lawyer in The Godfather, the adopted son.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And he was also in a lot of other movies. He's an old guy now. But anyway, when he finally got the final court case that were bringing him back to court, he goes, oh, damn, because he knew they got him.
Yeah.
They got him. He found a way to get him, and there has to be a way. You just have to stick with it, and there has to be a way to get the.
And there has to be, and Dr. Carpenter, as we've said so many times, if people are listening, and they are hearing what we are saying, and other people are saying, the people that are actually willing to stand up against the evil and say, it comes through me. I'm here. The buck stops here. They're not going to do this. Or even if they do it, that if you get knocked down, at least you stood till the end. Then there's a chance. There's a chance, hopefully, that other...
If you keep fighting, there is a chance that you might eventually win. You'll be banged up, bruised all the way, but you can get to that. Okay?
That's right.
But what I am saying, people out there are not... I'm the one who has risked everything and is still in a very bad situation. And more is coming up all the time. But I am the one that is at the front, okay? If they stand behind me, they're going to be protected by the fact that there's a large number. I am the one up front. If they are in the back, we can win. They're in the back, we can win. But it has to be a large number. It has to be people that want to stick with this and want to see a solution.
People have to be willing to support a person that's a proven whistleblower, a person with integrity that has the facts and the evidence and has proved that what they say is happening is actually happening. And we need large numbers of people to stand up.
I know, that's what we need. It cannot be done without them. We can fight, even alone, and we can express and uncover what's going on, but in order to get results, we need a large number of people complaining about what's going on.
Exactly.
And what has been happening. Unless we have a large number, nothing is going to get done. Why do you think they started and the DEA said, oh, we're not going to do that again. We're not going to raid, because of the outrageous response that people had about that. And you know what did that video that was showing the woman crying, and that's why they took it down right away.
Yeah, of course.
So
there's always a cover-up. Something comes up, and people start to pay attention, and the next thing you know, they're going to try to cover it up any way they can.
Yes, but it's still being seen, and people, if they complain enough, if the public complain enough, we can get somewhere. But you have to join me and complain. That's
I don't know if you've seen the video, but that woman that was arrested unlawfully in the park, she was just playing a banjo. Did you see that video?
No.
Well, this is a few weeks ago. A woman she's a veteran too, another veteran. She was in a park, a public park. I think it was in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, I think.
Oh, gee.
She was in a park, peacefully playing a banjo, okay? And there might have been some kind of protest connected to it, but she was not doing anything unlawful, nothing illegal. And the park rangers, the law enforcement people, came up to her and said, you can't be here, ma'am, you can't do this. And she kept asking questions. Why? I'm not doing anything. This is a public park. I'm just peacefully here. Okay, in the end, they grabbed the woman, and they assaulted this woman. They destroyed her instrument, the banjo. They destroyed it. Simply, all she did was protest You can't do this. I'm law abiding. I'm a veteran. What are you doing? And all the people in the park standing in the background were yelling at the law enforcement, so-called people, stop this. What the hell do you think you're doing? You're assaulting her. Okay? And they took her away. They arrested her. They cuffed her. They violently assaulted her. Okay? And all she was doing was peacefully sitting in a park playing a banjo.
Well, remember when they had the Occupy movement and the people were sitting there peacefully, not doing anything, and they were just sprayed with mace and arrest and all sorts of abuses of their rights. It's disgusting.
Well, you know, that there is a right. There is a right under the First Amendment. Okay, there is a right to peaceful assembly. Okay, if somebody is not doing any crime, they're not committing a crime, gathering somewhere, and you certainly have a right to a redress of grievances if somebody is violated, if the government is violating your rights. The Bill of Rights was placed there to protect the people from the government. That's what it's there for.
Well, you know, the Constitution has been ignored and violated for years now.
Yes, it has. That's
it's
right.
just disgusting, and we are not fighting. That's a problem. We're not fighting back. This is an abuse.
We are fighting back. Most people are not. We are fighting.
I know. We are fighting, but as I said, we cannot fight alone. We need a large number of people fighting it. Because there are so many examples of violation of people's rights, violation of the Constitution. There's so many examples. That's pretty much enough to overthrow the government, put a change. They're not following the Constitution. The one thing that remains is the Constitution,
but
not the politicians.
If it's allowed to happen to you and to me, and we are in a horrendous situation, because we kept standing up and fighting back. If people won't help us, if we are allowed to be thrown into the street and become destitute and homeless and continually stalked and harassed and persecuted, if they won't even stand up for us, people that know us, they won't stand up for us, then I don't see where the hope is, okay? If everybody that stands up gets destroyed. It's absolutely appalling.
Well, think about all the people that are walking around out there, and there are quite a good number of people that I saved from chemo, radiation, surgeries, and eventual death. Think about that. Nothing happens from that. They are happy that they escaped the horror of modern successful treatment of cancer. See, now 4% survivors.
That's right, but they won't speak out.
No, they won't.
I've had a similar situation where I've had so many people tell me, if I hadn't found your website, or if I hadn't been able to understand how the operations of counterintelligence, how they target people, I've had people tell me, you saved my life by what I learned from you. Where are those people now? Where are they? Are they standing up for me? Are they helping me? No.
So anyway, I'm talking about homeless. Anyway, let's not get into that. So, it's been a year now. Past a year.
That's right.
Anyway, yeah, it's been past a year. Okay, well, it's not okay, but people need to take a look at what is going on out there and get together and join us against the government. As I said, I tried with the compounding pharmacy. Obviously, it's not working. I'm not taken seriously. Well, we have run out of time already, even today, and it's over one more time. You know, we just get short of time. I didn't even cover half of the things I had to discuss, including a new Numab drug that has been approved by FDA. We'll talk about it next week. In the meantime, have a good week.